guys, welcome to Moms on a Mission. We would love to hear from you. Please follow Moms on a Mission on your favorite platform and connect with us at momsonamission.net. That's momsonamission.net.
Well, today we are welcoming back our favorite doctor, Dr. Jason Dean. It's great to see you again, Dr. Dean.
I'd say hi, ladies, but I feel like I should say hi, moms, but you're not my mom, so it's weird.
Right? That's a little awkward.
But it's always great to see both of you.
Well, thank you. Well, today we are going to focus our time on brain fog. I know that Miriam and I have talked about this before, and during COVID, but also just at the ages that we are.
It's a thing.
It's a real thing.
Like when you walk into a room and you walk into the laundry room and you're like, the laundry doesn't need done. Why am I in here? And
Ages.
Yeah, it's.
You look like you guys are like what, 30s?
Oh, right.
Right. He wants you to buy a lot of brain candy.
Well, and another one idea is I blame it on my kids why I can't think of things. Like I have four,
perfect.
and so I have to know all these people and all their names, but I used to remember everybody's name. So I really do feel like there's a little foggy.
Well, my dad had some serious brain fog and needed some serious brain candy because when I'm the third child, and he would literally, when he would go to call me, he'd say, Tim, Lydia.
Oh,
and then he called me the
yeah.
dog's name.
Yeah.
Well, you probably did. He called me the dog's name. He said Muffin. And then he said Miriam. And I was like, I'm going to really try not to be offended by that.
I've done that. I'm sorry.
That's awesome.
I've called
I've never done that.
I've called my poor daughter Kate Daisy a couple of times. The Daisy's a cute name.
That's better than Muffin.
Okay. Anyway, so we're going to talk about brain fog, but I want to give a little background and a little bit of data before we get started, and then we'll go right into that. So one long COVID symptom that we've heard over and over is about brain fog, and it can also affect, all kinds of people besides just us a little bit older, not too old,
Mature.
very mature, pregnant women, teenagers, those with stress and more. And according to the Cleveland Clinic, quote, brain fog doesn't have a single official definition or medical diagnosis. Instead, it's often a cluster of cognitive symptoms that people experience. Brain fog can be a lot of things to different people too. It can include any of the following: trouble focusing, difficulty paying attention, trouble remembering details, like places or words, or slow reaction times and information processing, general fatigue, cloudiness in judgment, and frequent loss or train of thought. And according to Dr. Kishnan from the Cleveland Clinic, she says when you have deficits in these areas, you may feel like you're having memory problems, but it's more of a problem in acquiring and maintaining the right information. So Dr. Dean, do you agree with Dr. Krishnan? Is it a problem of acquiring and maintaining the right information, or what's your take?
Okay. Honestly, at the end of the day, here it is. So you have all the energy in your body, including your brain. Your brain uses the most energy of any organ in the body. I think heart is behind it, number 2. I haven't checked, but that's what it is off the top of my head. Because there's a thing called mitochondria, right? So let's say somebody has trouble thinking, their brain is not working, et cetera. First of all, you have toxins. You have mercury amalgams that go to the brain. You have parasites that destroy neurotransmitters that are supposed to go to the brain. So the brain is not functioning. Also, we have a world who has decided that sugar is the thing that they want to go to. The brain doesn't operate on sugar. The brain operates on fats. So we have a low-fat diet now and a high-sugar diet, which is the opposite of what we should have, which is a low-sugar, low-carb, high-fat diet. So the brain, quite literally, is out of fuel. It doesn't have the energy because it's not getting energy to take in. Now, keep in mind, when you're young, you can pound the carbs and the sugar, and it looks like everything. Okay, but as you get older, that actually turns into metabolic disease, meaning your hormones are off, your cells don't work, your body doesn't work, your energy goes down. I'm going to project here. I don't have this number, just based on my clinical experience and talking to lots of people, right, from a doctor standpoint. Well over 50%, maybe 75% of especially women wake up in the morning, and if they're being honest, they'd prefer not to get out of bed because they're exhausted. They push themselves through their entire day. Most of them are gaining weight. The ones who are not gaining weight, that's fine, but their thyroids are usually a mess because they're just going. Most of them are using caffeine and other chemicals to keep themselves up. Caffeine, I'm a reformed coffee drinker. Caffeine is a drug. One of the most addictive drugs on the face of the planet. It's so funny. We would tell our family, we would tell everyone around us, don't do drugs, don't do marijuana, don't do cocaine, don't do heroin, etc., all this different stuff. Yet caffeine is a drug. It's just a socially acceptable drug, right? So the reason why this is all happening is toxins, right? So you have air toxins, water toxin, land toxins, vaccines, all this stuff. We're being bombarded left and right from all over the place. Well, what that does is it puts toxins into the cells of the human being. The individual every cell has things called mitochondria in them. Mitochondria are the engines of the cell. They make you go. If you are doing well, you're going. You have mitochondria making ATP. If you're down and you're not getting up and you're slow and you're quiet and you're sleeping and you just have no energy, your ATP is down, your mitochondria are not working. All these toxins make the mitochondria not work, right? So when we're talking about forgetfulness, we're talking about the brain not working, not being online. Well, the brain has the most mitochondria of any single organ. So if the brain's not working, if it's not recalling, one, you have a neurotransmitter problem, which means it's a gut problem. Two, you have a mitochondria problem, meaning your cells are toxic to the extent they're not pushing out energy. And it really is that simple. I mean, we've talked about parasites in the past. So parasites give off a byproduct called ammonia. Ammonia is something some people like, clean things with. It's a dangerous chemical. Ammonia, the byproduct of parasites, goes to the brain. Brain fog, cloudiness is typically ammonia and other toxins, meaning you're in a fog. People tell me all the time, I'm in a fog. I'm tired. I can't think. It's not working. It's not recalling stuff, right? It's not an age factor. I mean, I know people who are 90 plus who sharp as a tack. Their body's working, their brain's working. I also know 20 and 30-year-olds that can't get out of their own way. They go to the kitchen and they forgot what they went for. It's not an age thing. It's literally the toxin level in the body and how much mitochondria you have operating. Your mitochondria kick out something called ATP. ATP is literally energy. So if you're low ATP, you're not working. If you're high ATP, you're doing well. That's why we have something called BCATP. Literally, it helps the body have energy to heal. If you have no ATP, by the way, you're not going to heal because healing requires energy.
Oh, that's kind of a good point. So what causes it? Is it just excessive sugar intake or caffeine intake? I mean, is there a cause of it that you could describe?
Again, typically toxin levels. So yeah, and here's the interesting thing. So as Americans, we've been taught that like go, 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 go. And I'm not like opposed to going because I go, go, go as well.
You do.
However, we're also a very vain country, right? As long as we look good and we're smiling, we're happy and everything's great. As long as there's money in the bank account and we can drive around our vehicle that we want and have whatever we want and we can eat wherever we want, everything's great. However, no one looks internally what's actually going on, right? I know people who come in. I have people literally every single day that come in. They could be potentially models, super models, male models, etc. They look great until you talk to them. When you talk to them, they're shutting down inside. The body doesn't work. They're wiped out. They're exhausted. They barely get up. They push themselves through the day, etc. You find you do some testing on them. You work on them. Toxins, heavy metals, parasites, molds, right? So it's not showing on the outside. On the outside, they can still smile and put on a nice face. Inside, turmoil. Literally, their body is shutting down. And again, back to that thing. Mitochondria is not working. The cells aren't working. So yeah, at the end of the day, it's toxins, but then also we have a horrendous food system. Our food system is absolutely atrocious. I was just walking through Des Moines, Iowa airport yesterday, and I looked up and there was a big like poster billboard thing on the side of the wall, and they were bragging about being like the soybean capital of the world and how wonderful it is and how like modern agriculture, potentially one of the worst foods on the face of the planet. Like get soy out of your life if you'd like to be healthy. One, destroys hormones, causes cancer, and it's being used everywhere now. They think it's just the greatest thing in the world. So we live in a world where the food system is upside down. People are eating corn and soy. They're eating genetically modified foods. They're eating hormone, antibiotic, steroid-ridden animals. It's all over the place. And then sugar beyond all imagination. So the reason why people don't have any energy is because you can't fuel a body with garbage and expect the body to keep going, versus go look maybe in some of the natural health community, people are eating organic foods. And again, organic is kind of subjective at this point because we have such a polluted world, but it is a higher quality. They're not eating, meats that have tons of toxins in them. Maybe they kick the coffee, they're not drinking alcohol, all these different things, and their bodies are operating better typically, right? So the biggest thing is toxins, but then after that, it's the food supply. We're just not putting nutrition in the body. If you don't have fuel in the body's not going to run.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I don't think most of us pay enough attention to that. A good point you just made earlier was you said good fats. And,
yes.
Sometimes we get afraid of eating fat, or we're just not paying attention to the kinds of fats we're eating. And if we're running around, we quickly pick up a bar and some of those things are okay, but they're not going to make your body run at an optimal level. So I think that's a good point. There's a good reminder for me to be thinking about the types of fat that I'm eating. And then when I'm not eating those fats, what am I replacing them with? Not probably the right kinds of, not fat, which is what I need. Right. So moving on from that, we've heard a lot about the COVID brain fog. And so kind of going into, there's just that, a typical week, let's say you're not eating that well and you have a brain fog here and there, but it quickly fades or whatever. But what about the COVID? And then for other people where it starts to become regular, and is there kind of a tipping point of when it's kind of gets to be a dangerous situation? And what is COVID brain fog? Is it the same thing as we're talking about, or is it a different, or is it even a thing?
Yeah, so it shuts down. So I have to go sciencey here. So there's a thing called the Krebs cycle or the citric acid cycle, right? So this is just biochemistry and like medical chiropractic school, et cetera. And so you might even have it back in your like high school biology if people remember. It's the energy cycle, right? Yeah. So the energy cycle starts at one spot and it comes down to the other spot. And at the end, there's that ATP again. So energy, right? So all this complex formula comes down to creation of energy, right? So you have COVID. Let's say, for example, now we know COVID. I'm not going to go say that COVID was like non-existent, right? So they definitely created something in a lab and they sprayed it on the population, or they get in the population, however they get in the population, right? So you also have something that is lab created, biowarfare. There has never been a virus isolated in nature, ever. However, they can isolate something behind the scenes with man messing with it, right? So that's what they did. So they got it outside they got an exosome virus out of a bat, most likely, or other animal hosts, and then they manipulate it, put in it what they want, HIV, Marburg virus, etc. They put it out there. So then people were definitely exposed to something, right? Now, when they're exposed to it, what happens is it goes in there and it just starts kind of multiplying. The problem is if they breathe it in, it's going to the nose, it's going into the lungs. When it sits in the lungs are one of the worst spots you can possibly have something, because the lungs are just, it's a moist environment for molds, bacteria, parasites, etc. Most everyone that I've dealt with from a long COVID standpoint, whatever that's called or whatever that is, they're dealing with an overwhelm. Now, they did not get there, though, without having a system that was weak to begin with. And when I say weak, I don't mean that they were just a weak person. Their body was already at a disadvantage. And you might, my so-and-so was super healthy and they were doing great and they ran and blah, blah, blah. And then they got this and they've been off and on ever since. Just because someone's out running, eating great, doing wonderful, etc., doesn't mean they don't have something going on in their body, right? So then they're exposed to this and they start going through these cycles, right? So you probably have a parasite in there. You probably have a bacteria of some kind in there. Most likely you also have probably chemical laden things in there. You might have heavy metal and mold. You got to check for all those things. So it's not just one specific thing. It's what happens is the body was weak enough to begin with that it allowed this in there, and then it couldn't tackle it. So you got to go and start handling it from a kind of a higher level. And it's not one of those things where you just take a bunch of zinc and ivermectin. That's not what's going to handle it, right? You actually have to handle their overall lifestyle. And at the end of the day, this is the hardest thing for everybody out there. Trust me, I hear about it literally every single day.
I bet you do.
You got to get rid of the sugar. If you want to be healthy in this life, there's no way around it.
Mm-hmm.
What about if you just have sugar every now and then?
There's no way of getting around.
I was kind of serious, actually. I mean, I'm not saying like get a Snickers bar, but like an ice cream sundae, like once a month. Is that so bad?
That's entirely up to you to decide for yourself.
It just sounds so depressing to say I'm never going to eat ice cream again.
Well,
But I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. But
so there was a great study done. You can actually everyone that watched this can go look this up.
Okay.
I think they publicized it in, I want to say around 2016, 2015, something like that. There was a Harvard study done, and they were talking about, I think at the time it was heart disease, if I'm not correct. The study came out and showed that fat prevented heart disease. The powers that be went to Harvard and paid off the scientists, I think at the time about $50K a person, to literally cheat and reverse the findings. So the findings then said, and you go look this up, it's on CBS, it's Yahoo, like look up Harvard study sugar, fat. And, they paid them to reverse their findings. So they said that sugar had no detrimental effects and fat was bad for you. That was the start of this horrible downward trend in what we have right now. So sugar, I always tell people, you can do whatever you want. You have choices in life. Sugar is the number one cause of cancer. It's the number one fuel of cancer. Cancer cannot live in a body that doesn't take in sugar. Cancer is fed directly by sugar. Now, there's fruits, there's other things like that. It depends on what you're consuming, but just straight up sugar. America is, have you heard of scurvy?
Yeah.
Okay. Scurvy never went away. Scurvy is 100% still in play because of sugar. Scurvy is simply a sugar disease, right? That's why our kids aren't functioning today. I mean, people are like, how do we fix ADD? I can come up with a billion things for you to do for your kids. Number one, always is going to be kill the sugar. Their brains aren't operating. I mean, we go back to the brain thing. Sugar, by the way, lights up the same brain centers on an MRI scan as cocaine does.
Oh, I've heard that.
That's so crazy. I have heard that too. That is so crazy. And
I believe it.
That's how addicting it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They know that, by the way. That wasn't accidental.
Right.
This was done by the sugar industry a long time ago because they knew exactly how addicting it was and they knew they could sell more product.
Put it in every product in America.
And at the risk of just sounding like this is another cliche that has no meaning, but it really all boils down to money. It just seems that everything's about money. And that's why the Bible says the love of money, not money, but the love of money is the root of all evil. And I feel like you can find a money trail with anything that doesn't make sense, that doesn't have good data behind it, but yet something else is happening. And I feel like this is just one more example of that.
Money, power, and control.
Yeah. Well, what is your advice for people who suffer with brain fog, and what's the best way to treat it?
Yeah, so you get back to, okay, you got to handle the brain, right? The brain is not happy. Okay, why is the brain not happy? So we have to get rid of the parasites. We have to get rid of the heavy metals potentially. You have to get rid of the molds, maybe chemicals, et cetera. You got to change your lifestyle. We do have a product called BCATP. So BCATP is literally ATP. You put it in the body, and it's not to get the body to stop making ATP. What it is to facilitate the body towards getting more health. So one, it goes to the brain and it starts cleaning up brain fog. It starts getting the brain like more targeted and online. Like it actually, like a lot of people have said, even if they're like distracted or like a little bit off, it just actually helped them like focus, like blinders on, but not on. Like you can still look at other stuff, but you're focused on getting something done, right? So BCATP literally helps your mitochondria turn themselves on so they can start one, detoxing, but two, healing. Because again, if you're tired all the time, your body's not going to heal. Your body needs energy to heal, right? So BCATP allows people to start the healing process. I have people who don't get out of bed in the morning. They haven't been out of bed in years. Like they're just exhausted. They want to go. Their body will not allow them to go, right? So we get this stuff in them to get them. You got to have energy to heal. You got to get up. You got to move around. But also, again, it's just, we actually have some nicknames for it. The nicknames are brain candy, and
That
Adderall
nickname.
without the side effects.
Oh,
I like brain candy.
I like brain candy
Yeah.
too.
It
Brain
makes me
candy,
good.
brain candy ATP.
Yeah.
I like that.
And what is, this is just a question that probably is not that important, but what does the BC stand for in the BCATP?
Bioactive carbons.
Okay.
Okay.
Bioactive carbons.
And so I guess an easy question or quick question would be, can everyone take brain candy? It's from children all the way through.
Yeah, you can actually, for children too, you can, here's a trick. If you take it out and you chew it up, most people are not going to like this, but if you're younger, it tastes kind of like sweet tarts used to taste like.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit like that. Like it's got a tart taste to it. Also it goes in the body faster. So no, anybody can take it. It's great for anybody. It's a very popular product. I mean, I take about 10 a day.
Oh, okay. So that's what I was going to ask you next. What was the dosing regimen for most people on?
Most people can do a few a day. I take 10 because in the past, remember I got diagnosed with the ADD thing. So like it keeps me sometimes a little bit more focused. I'm also pulling some heavy metal out of my body. So from past amalgam. So I clean myself up a little bit with it.
Yeah.
So we've got your website pulled up here. And so the top one here on the left, it says BCATP and it says
there you go.
$600.
Yep.
So is that when they type in the code mission, or is that, do they get a discount?
Yeah, absolutely.
$90?
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Type in mission and you get the discount.
Awesome. And share that, Julie, with us, the website.
Oh yeah. It's Brave TV
/store.
that right. Yeah.
bravetv.store/mission, I think.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Dean. That's right.
And what's the dosing regimen like?
You can take a few a day.
Okay. And then
I mean, worst case scenario, just take what's on the bottle. But I mean, again, it's not going to hurt you. You don't need to take 5 or 10 necessarily. But I mean, I just play with stuff myself. So whenever I say I'm doing something, you know what to do what I'm doing. But we know it's safe, by default, just go what's on the bottle.
Okay, perfect.
And it's compatible with your other supplements. So we talked about full moon
protocol,
which we talked about on our last show. It's complementary with the brain candy. And it kind of, like you're saying, it sounds like it kind of works in tandem, correct?
It works with anything. So I mean, this is one of those products that it's in our house at all times. And you might take it every day, you might take it every couple of days, but it's always there to take. It always goes on the road with us. Every colleague I have that works alongside with us, what we do, they all have it with them at all times too. So it's kind of one of those things that, we all push ourselves too. Like, I was just traveling over the weekend doing more stuff. I got to travel again next weekend, the weekend after. It keeps, I'm facilitating the body to keep going and producing, not because it's got problems necessarily, but I live in planet Earth too. I have toxins that I'm still cleaning out. I just got the mercury out on my left side. I had it out on the right side a long time ago. Yeah. So now I'm cleaning out some of that stuff. So, it's just because I'm a doctor and I've been doing this for a while does not mean I'm fixed, right? There is no fix on this planet. This planet is very toxic. You will continue to clean yourself up on your journey all the way till you're done at the end. There's always something to work on if you can.
Well, I did the same thing with my teeth a few months ago, and I'm glad I did it, but I'm such a wimp when it comes to going to the dentist. But yeah, I can identify with you on that one. So I mean, brain candy just sounds like such a great product for so many of us that are experiencing brain fog, as well as
absolutely
our kids
and
too.
Probably, our kids, absolutely. Because when you think about the sugar intake that happens, even you don't bring it into your home, but at school or
there's no way around it.
So I think that's really important for kids too.
Absolutely.
So if our audience has any questions, the best place to go would be the website. Would that be?
Yeah, that's fine. The website, reach out to us on social media. That's fine. And we watch all platforms and make sure we cover everything.
Okay. Sounds good. Well, okay, everyone, I want you to go to bravetv.store/mission today to order your very own brain candy and full moon protocol. And you can also see the other helpful products. There's a lot of great products on bravetv.store. So that's bravetv.store/mission. And don't forget to use that promo code mission to get at least $20 off your first order. That's bravetv.store/mission, code mission.
Well, thank you, Dr. Dean, for joining us today. Please follow us on your favorite platform and email us at momsonamission53@gmail.com with any questions or comments. That's momsonamission53@gmail.com. And also visit our website at momsonamission.net. And there you can get all the latest information that we have in there and connect with us there. That's momsonamission.net.
Moms on a Mission is excited to partner with our friends at MyPillow. According to sleep experts and sleephealth.org, over 50 million Americans struggle to get a good night's rest. That's where MyPillow comes in. They make the best pillows, sheets, mattresses, and mattress toppers. Several years ago, I was having trouble falling and staying asleep due to neck and shoulder pain. Luckily, I heard an ad about MyPillow and decided to give it a try. After 3 or 4 days, I really began to feel a difference. I was sleeping better and my neck and shoulders felt so much better. MyPillow really does help you fall asleep faster and stay asleep longer. Moms on a Mission wants you to get a great night's rest too. Go to mypillow.com right now and use the promo code MISSION for up to 66% off your purchase. MyPillow products are made in America and have a 60-day money-back guarantee and lifetime warranty. Remember, go to mypillow.com, put in the special code MISSION for your special Moms on a Mission discount. Thank you and God bless.
Hey guys, it's Moms on a Mission here. Are you worried about your financial stability and protecting the money for which you work so hard? The problem is stock market volatility and inflation. You may be wondering what you can do to preserve your family's wealth. We at Moms on a Mission encourage you to reach out to our friend Andrew Sorcini with Beverly Hills Precious Metals. Andrew is the expert in educating you to help you find the right balance of gold and silver for your family portfolio. He made it so easy for me to add precious metals to my financial investments. I simply mailed a check to Beverly Hills Precious Metals and my silver showed up on my doorstep a few days later. It was so easy. Go to bh-pm.com to save a little money and tell them that Moms on a Mission sent you. That's bh-pm.com. Don't wait. Protect your wealth today by going to bh-pm.com and tell them that Moms on a Mission sent you. Hi everybody, it's Moms on a Mission here. Recent research from the CDC says that millions of Americans develop parasitic infections and symptoms often go unnoticed or are misdiagnosed.
Parasites are the cause of many health problems, such as anxiety, depression, chronic pain, fatigue, and unexplained digestive issues. We all need a common sense strategy to improve our health.
We at Moms on a Mission encourage you to reach out to our good friend, Dr. Jason Dean. Dr. Dean's Full Moon Protocol provides all-natural detoxification and fights inflammation. These supplements are made with 100% organic ingredients and are proven to kill parasites safely and effectively.
To order your Full Moon Protocol, go to bravetv.store/mission to save $20 off your first order. That's bravetv.store/mission. Order Full Moon Protocol and start killing those foreign invaders that have been keeping you sick. That's bravetv.store/mission to receive $20 off your first order.